Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. You guys haven't really seen much about this. We haven't done a lot of talk about this on the channel at all.
No, but what we watched not long ago was the
trailer.
Looking at the trailer, what a wild ride!
It is seems to be like a very wild ride, and who really knows what it's going to be about based on that trailer alone, right?
Yeah, it almost feels Tenet / In Time. Am I thinking of the right movie?
In Time. I don't know if I've seen In Time.
Is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, it seems nothing like In Time.
Well, okay.
and I'm gonna say this as well: nothing like Tenet.
Well, there was some reversing, right?
There was a little bit of reversing. I'll give you that. So it's also like Doctor Strange,
right? So I want to hit this first because this has been news. But before we get to the kind of crazy situation that's happened this past week, I want to point out the fact that there's not a major studio behind Coppola in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He is fronting the $120 million film that's starring Adam Driver. It's got Aubrey Plaza. It's got a whole bunch of people in this. It's got your favorite actor, Joshua, or one of your favorites.
Miles Teller.
No.
The
dude from Peanut Butter Falcon.
The guy with Down syndrome?
Shia LaBeouf. I wouldn't say he's my favorite actor. No,
well,
no.
It's a pretty high slated group of stars, right?
Yeah.
But he is funding this movie himself, which is kind of crazy that he is funding a $120 million film with his own money. So he was asked not too long ago about how does he feel about spending his fortune that he's worked hard to get on this one movie, right?
I think this question came up because his children, his offspring, his scrubbles have probably been vocal about how they're not in support of their father, just whiling away his fortune,
right?
Which, is potentially also their fortune.
Yeah.
On just whatever kind of passion project that he wants to do. And in the interview, he talks about, it's like, well, I opened up this winery.
Hold on, I'm gonna play it.
Oh, you're gonna play it? Okay.
I'm gonna play it. Okay.
Excellent.
So
now it's risking your own money on the film.
I don't care. I never cared about money. One of the reasons why I had the line of credit that I did to be able to do this is because in 2008, I borrowed in those days $20 million to take a winery and build a winery that children could do something when their parents were drinking the wine. Because I figured, well, if the kids could go, then the grandparents would go. And this absurd risk of $20 million created a place that now every winery tried to duplicate with. And so I just took the money from that I wouldn't have had had I not taken the risk, and I put the risk in the movie. So I have no problems with the financial. Also, another thing, my children, without exceptions, they have wonderful careers without a fortune. They don't need a fortune. So no matter what happens, we're fine. It doesn't matter. All of you, the money doesn't matter. What's important are friends, because a friend will never let you down. Money may evaporate.
Just that sympathy clap at the end there. It's like, okay.
Yeah, one guy.
There's so this guy's in his 80s, all right? And he's known for movies like The Godfather. I was just looking at this clip, and if I can find it, Adam Driver's just sitting there being like, man, this poor fellow. I guess I'm getting money. He's getting paid. But he's probably just like, I kind of feel bad.
I was the budget.
So if you guys hadn't seen the trailer, it's be kind of difficult to find the trailer the second half of this week. Genius. But the trailer kind of opens up with kind of taking a stab at critics from his past successful movies by saying, a sloppy, self-indulgent movie, right? It's a critic from The Voice about The Godfather, right? They also called it diminished by its artsanness. How do you say that word?
Artsiness.
artsiness, artsiness. Let's see. Doesn't know what it wants to be. These are all quotes from critics about The Godfather, and then they hit Apocalypse Now, and
Dracula,
then Dracula. And what's kind of interesting about all these quotes is that they're fake.
Wait, they're not real?
I thought it was funny because we watched the trailer and I was like, "This is some interesting quotes." I was like, I remember these movies being like, people kind of liking them, being kind of critically acclaimed and stuff like that.
Wait, the quotes are fake? I thought they were real quotes, but they were slandering.
I was like, oh, okay, so they dug up some quotes from somewhere,
Right.
like one person said this thing, and then slapped it onto the trailer. But it seems like they were more making it up.
Well, so I don't know if all of them were made up, but it just broke like yesterday that they had to pull this trailer. So it's been out for like a week, and they had to pull the trailer off of YouTube so you can find it, but it's not on the main outlets, I guess you might say, for this movie. And
Reddit to watch it.
They had to apologize because they opened the trailer by making it seem like he's never been believed, but he always comes out with masterpieces, right? Getting people to want to watch Megalopolis, his new self-funded epic, right? Starring Adam Driver. And they just had to redact the trailer and send out an apology. So the trailer for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis has been withdrawn by Lionsgate because the clip included fabricated quotes from real film critics about the filmmaker's previous work. The studio responsible for the distribution of the film in the U.S. apologizes to the critics and to Mr. Coppola for the inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up, Lionsgate said.
Good.
Wednesday.
Good. Yeah, that's the statement that these studios should be putting out. Is we messed up, we screwed up. This is our fault. We're taking responsibility. That's a really great way to do it.
What would be their motive for putting fake things up, though?
I'll tell you what I think happened, and this is just a personal theory. They hired a person or a team or a crew, and Coppola said, "This is kind of what I'm going for with the attitude of the movie or whatever." Maybe he had some notes and the studio was like, "Okay, use this, follow these sort of notes and come up with something intriguing," right? And so they were like, "Okay, well, we put together these reviews about his past movies and to kind of bring up the new one, right? These classic Coppola movies, these critically acclaimed Coppola movies, put kind of a negative spin on it and make people go, wait, what? People thought these were bad? I always thought these were good. And then the new one comes on and you watch it and you have that thought in the back of your mind, even though you're confused the entire way through. And you're like, okay, so the critics said that The Godfather was kind of like a sloppy mess. This looks like a sloppy mess,
right?
But it is Coppola, and I know that The Godfather's not a sloppy mess. So it's almost weirdly like relying on people's movie literacy and knowing that The Godfather is a good movie to kind of, I don't know, a little bit of reverse psychology to make them be like, okay, this might be just like a really great movie, even though it looks like a sloppy movie.
Yeah. It was definitely a choice. But check this out. So this article breaks down a couple of the ones that were faked. The spot included a quote from critic Pauline Kael. As writer, The Godfather was diminished by its artsiness. Okay. When her actual review was decidedly decidedly positive.
Yeah.
Decadently positive.
Decidedly. Yeah, decidedly. You got it.
All right.
Good
Similarly,
job.
critics Rex Reed, apparent dig at Apocalypse Now, an epic piece of trash, was made up completely.
Fabricated, completely fake.
All right. And the late critic Roger alleged insult of the film Bram Stoker's Dracula, a triumphant of style over substance, appears to be taken from his review of a different film by a different director, Tim Burton's Batman. So it wasn't even for Dracula at all, right?
And you know what? Let's be honest. That Tim Burton's Batman is a triumph of style over substance.
And it
absolutely is.
This article says it's unclear how the quotes were created, right? So I think
this is definitely confusing. Unlike, what's the purpose of making fake quotes and why? Like, why?
It's to lift up this movie.
I have a theory.
Lift up the movie.
I have a theory. No, there was the purpose of saying, let's get negative reviews of Coppola in the past. It's going to build the reputation for it doesn't matter what the critics say, it's always going to be good. But this is how it happened. Somebody like me, man. So this thing doesn't have a lot of checks and balances, okay?
A white man?
Somebody was putting this trailer together, probably alone in their basement, right? On a contract job. And they said, we're going to do like this general idea, put something together. Let's go ahead and see like what you come up with, right? And probably one or two dudes like me put this trailer together. They were really proud of it. But when they went for the beginning, they probably Googled or asked AI, give us negative quotes of The Godfather. And either Google or AI was wrong, as they often are. And when they presented the first draft, they said, these are really good quotes. Did you do background on this? They're like, yeah, we looked it up on the internet. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'll tell you.
That's what I think.
They went looking for the negative reviews of those films. They absolutely did, and then they couldn't find them. I'm telling you, it was a studio note that said, you know,
find negative quotes.
Negative quotes from his previous movies, which everybody knows are brilliant classics, right? They went looking for those reviews, and they couldn't find any of actual substance, so they made them up or pulled them from something else.
I think you're a little bit wrong, Joseph, with your statement where you're saying that they were looking at it and they're like, these are really good quotes. I think that was part of it, is nobody checked behind whoever made these quotes or like made them up. Right. They were just like, oh, let me make them up. And then there was nobody saying, are these actually real? Are these real quotes?
It almost sounds like a game that we would have on the podcast. Is this a real quote? Is it a quote from something else, or is it a twisted quote from something that was actually positive?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Gosh, that's so weird that
it is.
But I'm telling you, I know exactly. I'm not saying it's that exact thing, but something like that happened. They got a studio note. They went searching. They had to make this up on the fly, and they produced something.
It was out. Look, it was out for like a week, and it got 1.3 million. Let's see. The trailer was viewed more than 1.3 million times the day it was posted online, right? So it's got, I'm pretty sure by the time they pulled it, I think they pulled it yesterday morning, or maybe Saturday night. It got a lot of views.
I'll be honest. I think that the direction for what the trailer is supposed to be probably came from Coppola, because it says that they released the film at the Cannes Festival, right?
Yeah,
and it didn't get like great reviews.
Had mixed reviews, is what it
had
says.
Mixed reviews, and I'm sure people were being like, it seems like kind of a mess. It seems like a little bit of a long, protracted kind of film. It seems like, and so I wouldn't be surprised if either him or his team was like, when we come up with this trailer, we need to make sure that people are kind of aware of that style of movie making has always been,
right?
That you've always been kind of doing this thing, and you've always made bangers. You've always made classics.
That could be.
Right. Well, I mean, take a look real quick at the opening trailer. Like, just listen to this for a second, okay? Listen to how it opens.
True genius is often misunderstood.
Yeah, true genius is often misunderstood.
Thanks, Morpheus.
That's exactly it. And so, yeah, it's just basically like Coppola is a true genius, right? And people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand when he's putting his stuff out, but it will become legend. Now, I will say at the showing at the festival, it does say that it was after the film it received a standing ovation, right? But there were also at the end afterwards, the written reviews were mixed. So we'll see how this is. I mean, I know they're not wrong necessarily, because all of his films, including Godfather, did have a lot of mixed reviews. It wasn't just perfectly accepted across the board.
I saw the second Twilight movie in theaters. It also got a standing ovation.
Did it really?
I mean, I was part of that when Jacob took his shirt off and
everybody
long hair. And
we all saw it.
Why on earth were you at the theater for the second Twilight movie after the first one?
It doesn't
we don't
matter.
need to get into that.
Moving on. Moving on.
Why were you in the trailer?
Moving on
for New Moon.
Well, moving on.
Were you in middle school then?
Can we just get to the next thing?